I never thought I'd wake up to 20 missed calls, a voicemail that sounded like a banshee on fire, and my doorbell camera catching Karen Power walking across my lawn at 5:47 a.m., leopard print pajamas, neon Crocs, waving a rolled-up stack of papers like she was about to summon the devil himself. She wasn't here to borrow sugar. She was here to declare war because I'd turned my old barn into something she never saw coming. And what happened next almost got me arrested for something I didn't even do. Let me take you back 48 hours before the meltdown that broke the internet in our little gated slice of suburbia. I'm a retired detective, 23 years on the force, the kind of guy who still flinches at fireworks because they sound like gunshots. When we moved into Willow Creek Estates, my wife begged for the house with the massive detached barn out back. I saw rusty beams and spiderwebs. She saw a future she shed. I saw something way better, a solution to a problem that had been eating me alive since the day we signed the papers. See, our HOA brags about being safe and exclusive. The truth? Car break-ins every week, packages vanishing like they had legs, teenagers doing burnouts at 2 a.m., while the single rent-a-cop napped in his Prius by the front gate. I'd lain awake too many nights listening to my Ring camera pick up footsteps that weren't ours. My wife stopped walking the dog after dark. That crap ends when someone decides to do something about it. So I did. I cashed in favors most cops collect over a lifetime. My old captain hooked me up with surplus gear. My buddy at the alarm company owed me for saving his ass during a foot chase back in '09. Within 6 weeks, my barn had ballistic glass windows, a panic room, 3 4K cameras with facial recognition, a direct 911 priority line, and a gleaming sign above the roll-up door that read Willow Creek Private Security Substation. Trespassers will be identified and prosecuted. I even convinced 2 off-duty officers to rotate nights for extra cash. Real badges, real guns, real backup. For the first time in months, I slept like a baby. Then Karen saw the sign. Karen, full name Karen M. Whitmore, HOA president, self-appointed guardian of Bay Sightlines and St. Augustine Grass Height, pulled up in her white Escalade so fast she left skid marks on the cul-de-sac. I was outside hosing down the patrol golf cart. We'd painted black and white for extra intimidation. She stormed over, heels stabbing the pavement like ice picks. "Do you have permits for this vigilante fortress?" she shrieked, clutching her iPad like a shield. I smiled, the kind of smile you give someone who's about to learn a very expensive lesson. Every single detail, Karen. Inspected and approved by the city, the sheriff's office, and, plot twist, your own architectural review board. Check page 7 of last month's meeting minutes. You signed them yourself. Her eye twitched. You know the twitch. The one that happens right before the dragon breathes fire. That was Tuesday. By Wednesday morning, she called an emergency HOA meeting nobody was invited to. By Wednesday night, she'd filed 17 anonymous complaints with the city, claiming everything from unauthorized commercial activity to light pollution because the new LED floodlights made her McMansion look prisony. Thursday, that's when she lost her damn mind. I was inside the substation showing Officer Ramirez how to work the new license plate reader when the motion sensor screamed. Live feed popped up. Karen, now in a full Navy power suit and pearls like she was about to argue before the Supreme Court, was marching straight toward the barn with a cordless drill in one hand and a printed copy of the HOA covenants in the other. The drill was already spinning. She was coming for my sign. I bolted out the side door yelling, "Ma'am, step back." But she was on a mission from the HOA gods. She reached the barn wall, raised that drill like a spear, and started attacking the beautiful custom metal sign that cost me $1,200. Sparks flew, but screamed against steel. She shrieked about aesthetic tyranny and covenant violations, while chips of paint rained down like metallic snow. Officer Ramirez stepped out behind me, hand on his holster, voice calm but firm. "Ma'am, drop the power tool and step away from the building now." Karen spun around, eyes wild, lipstick half chewed off, and that's when she saw Ramirez's body cam rolling. Her face went the color of skim milk. The drill slipped from her fingers and clattered to the ground. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. because right then my Ring camera caught her whispering the sentence that made my blood run cold. This isn't about the sign. You have no idea what you just uncovered in that barn. Before either of us could ask what the hell she meant, she bolted back to her Escalade, peeled out, and left us standing in a cloud of burnt rubber in total confusion, because I hadn't uncovered anything yet. The second Ramirez hit save on his body cam, I knew this wasn't ending with a destroyed sign and a bruised ego. Kara just threatened me in front of the sworn officer, then dropped a cryptic bomb and vanished like a bad magic act. My cop instincts kicked in hard. Something stank worse than her Chanel No. 5 mixed with panic sweat. I replayed the footage on the barn's 85-inch monitor, zooming in on her lips. You have no idea what you just uncovered in that barn. Clear as day. Ramirez raised an eyebrow. Buddy, you hiding bodies or just really ugly Christmas decorations in there? I laughed, but it came out hollow. The barn had been empty when we bought the place. I'd personally gutted it to the studs before installing the security gear. Nothing but mouse turds and a 1970s Playboy someone had used as insulation. Or so I thought. That night, I couldn't sleep. At 2:13 a.m., I slipped out in sweats and a headlamp, pried up the new subfloor in the back corner, the one spot we poured fresh concrete because the old slab was cracked to hell, and started chipping. 47 minutes later, my pickaxe hit something that wasn't rock. Metal, a rusted handle. I dug like a dog after a bone and uncovered a trapdoor nobody had seen in decades. Underneath, a ladder descending into pure black. I should have called it in. Instead, I texted Ramirez, "Bring coffee and your flashlight. You're going to want to see this." By 3:30 a.m., we were 10 feet underground in a concrete room the size of a 2-car garage. No cobwebs, no dust. Someone had been here recently. In the middle sat a steel table bolted to floor, on a stack of file folders, a burner phone blinking with missed calls, and hundreds of photographs. Neighborhood kids asleep in their beds, wives jogging, husbands grilling, my wife walking the dog. Every single photo taken from inside our yards through windows at night, and each stamped with a tiny red sticker in the corner. KW. Karen Whitmore. Ramirez let out a low whistle. Your HOA president's running a blackmail ring, brother. But it got worse. Taped under the table, a ledger, names, dollar amounts, dates. Half the board members were paying her 5-figure special assessments every quarter to keep certain photos from going to spouses, employers, or the FBI. One name had a balance of $87,000 with a note. Final warning 11:30, or release everything. The final warning was dated 4 days from now. That's when the burner phone buzzed on the table. Unknown number. I answered on speaker. Karen's voice, cold as ice. I told you you'd regret that little cop shop. Tear it down by sunrise, or every secret in Willow Creek hits every inbox from here to the governor's mansion, starting with your wife's. Click. Ramirez reached for his radio. I stopped him. She's watching us right now. Guarantee it. Sure enough, one of the old barn rafters had a fresh pinhole camera blinking red. She'd been live streaming the entire discovery. We bolted upstairs. Every monitor in the substation showed the same feed. Karen, standing in her kitchen, live streaming to the entire neighborhood Facebook group. 1,847 viewers and climbing, holding a glass of wine, smiling like a Bond villain. Good morning, Willow Creek. Some of you have been very naughty. Luckily, I've decided to be merciful. All you have to do is vote right now in the emergency poll I just posted. Should we permanently ban private militias and tear down that eyesore of a fake police station on Lot 47? Fine. Majority rules. You've got 60 minutes. And if the vote doesn't swing my direction, well, check. Your phones. Mine lit up nonstop. Ramirez's too. Then everyone else is in. The entire subdivision. Photos, videos, recordings, ammo capable of detonating. Marriages, jobs, reputations. The group. Chat exploded into absolute hysteria. People who owed her were pleading. People who despised her were rooting. For chaos. Overnight, half the neighborhood suddenly switched to team. Caring for one reason only. They were terrified of whatever she collected on. Ramirez turned to me. We can shut her down right now. Hit the house. Grab the hard drives. Over. I stared at the poll results climbing. 61% already voting. To tear down my barn. Not yet, I said. She wants the crown? Cool. Let's show her. What happens when the villagers discover? The Queen's been filming them in there. Showers for 3 entire years. I flipped. On the substation's PA, the one powerful. Enough to reach every cul-de-sac. Hit record and began. Willow Creek, this is your private security station. In exactly 30 minutes, we're hosting an open house in the secret room, your HOA. President built underneath my barn. Bring your kids. Bring snacks. Bring your attorney. Everything you're afraid of is coming out anyhow. Might as well hear it. From the people who actually protect you. Karen's livestream expression drained. Ghost pale. Her wine glass slipped and exploded on camera. The poll numbers flipped like crazy. She shrieked at someone off screen. Then blackout. 10 minutes later, my doorbell cam caught her tearing across my yard again. This time wearing 6-inch heels and a trench coat, gripping a laptop like radioactive material, sprinting straight for the barn. She wanted to torch the evidence. And I still had 28 minutes left to prep for the open house. She kicked through the side door like she'd drag held behind her, coat whipping, hair an electric halo of overpriced highlights and pure breakdown energy. The laptop was glued to her chest. She looked inches from leaping into the trap door and starting a bonfire that could hand her 2 decades in federal prison. Too late. 43 neighbors were already jammed inside the substation. Phones held high, live streaming to every chat thread within 5 miles. Ramirez waited at the ladder, arms crossed, blocking the descent. 2 off-duty cops. I called and flanked the rolling door. Karen skidded, scanning for escape like a trapped raccoon. Move, she spat. Ramirez smiled a polite, doom-filled smile cops reserved for people who are absolutely, unquestionably finished. Ma'am, you're trespassing. Again. Step back outside. She switched to the Queen. Betone. Do you even know who I am? I'm the president of... Former president. Someone yelled. Vote just closed. 89 to 11. You're out, Karen. Her face crumpled for a heartbeat. Then she slapped the mask back on. She pivoted toward the crowd, holding the laptop like armor. You idiots don't understand. These files are protecting all of you. Without me, a teenage girl in the front, the one whose bedroom photos were in the stack, stepped out and raised her phone. Without you, maybe my dad stops getting blackmail texts at 3 a.m. You're finished. Karen's eyes darted to the trap, door to the ladder to fantasy of burning everything. I pressed the panel on. The wall, steel shutters slammed over. Every exit with a boom that made half. The crowd flinch. Only the glow of dozens of phones lit her now like a ring of tiny searchlights. Karen Marie, Whitmore, you're under citizen's arrest for extortion, voyeurism, stalking, property destruction, and roughly 3 dozen more charges the DA's typing up as we speak. The crowd split. 2 uniformed deputies entered, actual deputies, not side hustlers, cuffs ready. Karen took one look and did the one thing I never saw coming. She crumpled to her knees, right on my cold concrete, and let out a sob. So raw it echoed, not cute crying, full, snot bubble, hyperventilating meltdown. It wasn't supposed to go like this. It was tiny at first. 1 cheating husband, 1 wife hiding cash. I just wanted the neighborhood perfect. Perfect people don't split up. Perfect people don't get arrested. Perfect people pay their fees. Someone in the back shouted, "Lady, you recorded my kid in the bathtub." The crying stopped dead. She looked up, mascara rivers carving through layers of foundation, and for the first time I saw the real Karen, not the pajamas, not the power blazer tyrant, just a terrified woman who mistaken control for love. I never hurt anyone. I only threatened to. The deputies cuffed her. As they walked her past me, she paused, voice barely, above the clicks of recording phones. You still don't get it. Look at the last file, the one labeled insurance. They escorted her out. The instant the door shut, I sprinted back to the bunker, ripped open the bottom drawer Ramirez hadn't checked, and there it was, alone, red folder titled insurance in her perfect HOA handwriting. Inside were photos of Karen, dozens captured the same way she captured everyone else, shot through nighttime windows. Only these weren't taken by her. Someone had been watching her. On the back of the final picture, in different handwriting, checkmate, KW. Burn everything or these. Go to your husband and the FBI. X. The burner phone buzzed one last time. Unknown number. A single text. Enjoy. Playing hero detective. Now you're the one holding the bag. See you soon. I looked at the still recording neighbors, at Ramirez frozen in shock, at the laptop now marked as evidence. At 40, 3 people who thought the nightmare had wrapped up, and it hit me, the real twist. Karen wasn't the mastermind. She was a pawn. And whoever X was, they'd been orchestrating this for years, using my barn, my cameras, my reputation, planning to scorch the board exactly. When it suited them, the cheers faded. Someone whispered, "So, who's been watching all of us?" I stared straight into a pinhole camera I still hadn't tracked down and forced a tired smile. The look of a man who closed one case and opened a nastier one. Open houses. Done, folks. Lock up tonight. Real locks. This time, because somewhere out there, the real puppet master is still watching. And she just got released. If you liked this story, don't forget to subscribe. Every click helps me bring you more wild and dramatic HOA tales. And tap the bell so you never miss a new one. I'll see you in the next chapter, where the justice hits even harder.